What's the best part about your job?
I'm not me for 5 hours a day, and if I can get out of the tangled up mess that is my head and into somebody else's head, all that pent-up aggression is now taken out on somebody, and you know, be as vicious and mean as I can towards anybody to scare them. You want to make it so that they're not going to escape, right? I mean, that's the thing. We don't want them to escape.
Hi everyone, and welcome to day 17 of my 31 Days of Horror. And today I've gone down a Halloween themed route, in that Halloween is only 2 weeks away today. I thought I'd watch something that's based on Halloween. So I've chosen the movie The Houses October Built.
Tell me about yourself and what are we doing?
You want my name? My name is Zack. You've known me for 20 years, Mikey. I've rented an RV. I want to find the most extreme haunted house in the world.
What is an extreme haunt? I don't understand how far you really can go on without hurting somebody. What's your name, buddy? Hi, Mikey.
What's the camera for? Are you doing crime stoppers or cops or something?
We're doing To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator? I gotta go.
You wanna be a pretty dolly like me?
What's going on? Do you care if we ask you some questions? I'm with all this group of people, and we're trying to find something extreme. Hey, we got it. It's in Louisiana this year.
We don't have an address, though.
This is where they said to go.
Is that the girl from The Haunt?
She didn't really say anything.
Something happened to your car?
Look what we have here. It's an invitation.
This is not a haunt. We're in the middle of nowhere in our RV.
Yeah, I know. It's what we've been wanting.
One more day. It's Halloween. We go home tomorrow. Hey, wait up! Wait up! What's that? Shh. Somebody's on the roof.
What just happened?
Brandy, stay back.
You wanna come out and play?
It's written by Zack and Bobby Raw, and Bobby Raw also directed the movie. Now, before I go any further with this short review, I have got a short intro. Now, check this out, guys.
Hey guys, I'm Zack Andrews, the writer, producer, and actor in The Houses October Built. So I hope you enjoy Chris's review, and go check the movie out. We're on Netflix and iTunes, and have a happy Halloween.
So that's Zack Andrews. Like I said, he is the actor and the writer of The Houses October Built. A big thumbs up to Zack for that. I really do appreciate it. Like I do appreciate all the actors and writers and directors who've helped me so long on this journey with this little project that I'm doing. So many thanks, Zack, for doing that. I really do appreciate it. So, The Houses October Built, as I said, came out in 2014. It also stars Brandy, Schaefer, Jeff Larson, Bobby Raw, Mikey Raw, and of course Zack Andrews himself. And it's based around 5 friends who I've just named: Bobby, Mikey, Jeff, Brandy and Zack. And basically they're trying to find the extremest thrill ride that they can that is based around Halloween. Now, when I say that we've all been through something similar during our childhood, I don't think I'd be lying. Now, there's a scene in this film when a couple of them are talking about being a child and being scared for the first time, say going on a ghost ride or in a haunted attraction. And as we get older, we lose that kind of feeling, which we do, because we become adults and we get to understand the ways of the world, if you will. Now, what these 5 guys are trying to do, and Zack especially, they're trying to find this ultimate extreme haunt, something that is really going to put the fear of God into them when they attend it. So the film is shot like a mockumentary style in that we see offcuts, if you will, of interviews with people who work at these themed attractions, people who have visited these horror themed attractions. But the way this movie is filmed, it's good in that you don't really know who's acting and who isn't. Now obviously we know the 5 people in the film are actors, but the way it's cut in between scenes, as in interviewing people, you don't know if they're actual employees of these theme parks or are the actors just for this film. It's canny how they've done it, how it's been filmed, and for that you can't fault them. So basically the 5 guys, they start off quite innocently and quite tamely. They go from one attraction to the next, and to begin with, they're quite tame. We see young children there for a start. Now if it was a serious themed attraction and it's scary, obviously you're not going to have under 18s there, but we do see little children scattered about 1 or 2 of these theme parks at the beginning. But as the film progresses, what we do, we see Zack and his crew get deeper and deeper into what they're actually looking for, and sometimes you should be wary of what you wish for in life, and this film sums that up perfectly, because Zack and the other 4 members, like I said, they're looking for the extremest thrill ride they can. They want to go back to the childhood and be scared like they were the first time they went on a ghost ride. And as the film progresses, they go to theme parks, and these extreme theme parks, where slowly but surely they get more and more graphic and more frightening. And we see these creepy characters. I think one of the characters is like I think she's called Porcelain Girl or Porcelain Face or something like that. And it's a creepy girl basically, and she's got a porcelain face. And we see her scattered about this film from beginning to end. So obviously there's something sinister going on with Zack and his friends, and it's like they are being targeted and they are being hunted down, if you will. Now, the whole premise of the film is based on this urban legend, or if you will, or this myth called the Blue Skeleton. And the Blue Skeleton, by the sounds of it, is a gang of people who do the ultimate extreme haunt, if you will. And Zack is trying to find his way around, he's trying to negotiate his way around so he can actually encounter the Blue Skeleton crew for himself, and so can the other 4 members of his team. So what he's doing is going from thrill ride to thrill ride. He's interviewing people while he's there, you know, crew members, people who have just visited him, and he's basically laying down the foundations. Have you heard of something called the Black Skeleton, or the Black Skull, or the Blue Skeleton, or the Blue Skull? And he's asking questions throughout. Eventually he gets his answers, and he starts being tormented, and so does the other 4 members. They all start being tormented by these creepy looking clowns and other people dressed up as monsters. And it's not long before things start to take a sinister turn for the worst. They start getting contacts from people who know the Blue Skeleton crew through Facebook and other apps and other social media, and basically they find their way to the Blue Skeleton crew. Now again, I don't want to give too much away in terms of spoilers. It is a film you may have to watch once or twice. It's a simple film in that it's straightforward to follow, but I've now watched it I think 3 or 4 times, and every time I watch it I hear something I missed previously, which makes more sense when it comes to the ultimate ending of the film. Now I don't want to give anything away about the ending of the film because it's different. That's all I'll say. I'll say it is different than your other kind of found footage films, and that's a good different, not a bad difference. So yeah, I'm not going to say anything about the ending to this film, but Zack Andrews and Bobby Rowe, they have written a neat little found footage film. Now I know I've only just previously reviewed The Blair Witch, and I had stated in that review that there's not many horror films and found footage films that have been released since The Blair Witch that come close to emulating it. Now, I'm not saying The Houses October Built is way up there with The Blair Witch, but it's not far off. It's unique, and the good thing is, it is all based around Halloween. But the frightening thing about The Houses October Built is you could actually picture it being real. And like I said to Zack Andrews just the other night, I contacted him over Twitter and we got talking about his film. And he said there's reviews out there which people have said it feels like what you're watching is a real life commentary, but then it flips to like just slightly made believe, but you don't know which point that switch is. I don't even know what point that is, because from beginning to end, this movie does pull it off really well in that you feel like you are watching something real. And that is what the worry is. How many times, guys, have you been to film conventions, horror conventions, or just normal film conventions, even Star Wars conventions, things that I've been to just around the corner from where I live? And you are intimidated by people dressed in outfits, dressed in masks. You don't know who's behind that mask. And we see scenes in the houses Octoberville where people are being interviewed who run these theme parks, and they openly admit that they don't vet people. Now, here in the UK, I don't know how stringent that is, because we have these horror theme parks every year, every October. I don't know if people are vetted before they're allowed to work for these companies, but that is what the worry is. You could have anybody in those masks. You could have paedophiles, you could have murderers, rapists, you could have people who are completely unhinged in their mind. You could have anybody working for these companies. That's if they're not vetted. Now, that is what the worry is. How many times, like I said, guys, have you been to conventions and you see people wearing a mask? Anybody could be behind those masks. Anybody. And that is what this film plays on. It plays on that emotion of the creepiness factor, the not knowing if it's safe or unsafe to go into these extreme haunts. Now, as we find out through the film, most of them are quite not, well, yeah, they're tame, but they're frightening. But obviously you're never going to be hurt, because these characters who are dressed up as clowns, they're not supposed to touch people in any way, shape or form. So if they're using like axes and swords, obviously you'd expect them not to be real axes and swords, but it's that fear factor of unknowing. Now, the Houses Octoberville, like I said, it uses a lot of scenes in between footage shot of Zack and his crew. We see scenes which look like they've been taken directly from TV shows, news articles, if you will. We see scenes where a news reporter's reported on the death of a young boy who's been hung at a theme park. Now, he's there hanging, but visitors think it's part of the show. And that's what I mean about how sinister these theme parks are. So the Houses Octoberville, it does touch upon that primordial fear of the unknown. And that's a good thing, it really is. And that's what I mean about this film, guys. You have to watch it a few times to pick up these certain parts that you've probably missed prior to watching it before. And that's what I like about this film. It really is a good film, guys. Now, there's a lot of creepiness value in this. We see a lot of people dressed, like I said, dressed as clowns and dressed as werewolves. And there's a scene of somebody dressed in a bunny outfit. And that is creepy as hell, it really is. But as the film meanders through and we slowly get to the finale, the last 20 minutes, half an hour or so, things start to take a turn for the worst, like I said, for Zack and the other four members. People get abducted by these strange assailants. And then we see the other four members, they've been told that they've got to go to this highway, this deserted highway, where this bus turns up, and one by one they do get abducted. Now, that isn't the end of the film, so like I said, guys, I'm not going to spoil the ending for you. You've got to watch it to see how it all unravels. But let's just say it's completely different from the norm. Now, the Houses Octoberville, they've tried to keep it as close to found footage as reasonably possible from what I gather. There's hardly any ambient music, so you're not waiting for that quick jump scare. You know something's going to happen. When it happens, it happens. When it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's good. Again, it's not using cheap scare tactics to get a quick jump scare. Instead, it's using your interpretation and your fear of the unknown and what's going to happen. And again, that's what I like, a big thumbs up for that, because that's what we want from found footage films. We don't want to be scared too easily. We want it to use our imaginations to get that scariness. And this works really well. Now guys, if you've seen the Houses Octoberville, comment down below and tell me what you thought. I think it also goes by the title, The Houses of October. Now I think the Houses Octoberville sounds better because these theme parks do crop up throughout Halloween, throughout October. So the Houses Octoberville or the Houses of October, yeah, I'll let you decide, but I personally like the Houses Octoberville. But if you've seen it, guys, comment down below, tell me what you thought. If you've not seen the film, it's available on Google Play. I think in England, I think it's £5.49 to buy or £2.49 to rent. Go on Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, all the other streaming sites where you can rent or buy this. go out and get it, and then come back and let me know what you thought, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for day 18 tomorrow, where I've got another film. I'm not going to tell you what it is, or if I've got any intros. You're going to have to come back and watch it yourselves, guys. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and always remember, take care and look after yourselves.